We are back. I've got Arvin here today, our Amazon expert, and we're talking about authenticity issues. So I guess just to start, as always, can you just give us the overview? What are Amazon authenticity issues that you're receiving maybe on your products? And yeah, let's break it down.
Well, this is usually just complaints coming from your Amazon customers. Sometimes your product is not really fake. It's just that sometimes customers are complaining because they just want to return the item and they cannot find any other reason on the drop down to return it. And sometimes they'll say, "Oh, it's not as described," or sometimes also it's a mistake of the seller that they send in an incorrect, or the product has this different color. Like on the detail page, it says that it is actually red, but the product that the customer received is blue. So they can also complain to Amazon that the product is inauthentic or fake. Also, Amazon will either tag it as a product condition complaint, being that it's an incorrect product, or sometimes they might tag it as an authentic problem or inauthenticity problem. So those are just some, but also there are some customers or just Amazon, they have an algorithm. They will base it on the terms being used by customer, and they might just automatically flag it on your seller central account and deactivate it. So one important thing for you to do as a seller is go and look at the voice of the customer dashboard, review what your customers are saying, why are they returning it. So the customers will always give you the reason. And now that it's actually very helpful right now compared to before, that the voice of the customer, there's an algorithm there now that says how many of these customers who return your item says that the product is damaged, or if it is inauthentic. And then you can even look at it like, what's going on? Is my product really authentic? Then maybe you can go back to your manufacturer and ask them, what's going on here? Why am I getting these complaints? So sorry for talking about too much about that. It's just, there's so many things that can be considered why Amazon will tag your product as inauthentic, and they will not disclose those information to you. You have to do your own investigation or do your own root cause analysis and provide them with a plan of action. Why is this happening? And then also get all of the documentation that Amazon will ask you, and we can talk about that in details later.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if I go and open a return from my Amazon account as a buyer, I've got like 6 or 8 options. Like, why are you returning this item? And there's 2 categories of people. There are the people who are like, oh, I don't care what, I'm just going to choose one. And they choose inauthentic or defective or something's wrong with it, whatever. And then there's the people who are actually think like, this is not authentic, right? Or there's some problem with it. Everyone's a little different, but regardless, it's going to impact you as a seller. And so I guess when you do have something like this happen, so like if you get a true authenticity complaint from Amazon, first off, you're going to see that in your account health dashboard, right? Is that where you're going to find that?
Yeah. Yes.
And then what do you do to actually resolve it? Let's talk about the steps to actually go and try to get it fixed.
Well, first thing you need to do is go to the voice of the customer dashboard. See, because you can see there the order ID number and what are the return reasons, and even the feedback from your customers and the views from your customer. If you can look at that and then see if there's any actually like what's going on, is there's like the same or recurring feedback from your customer. And one thing that you can do is to first is reach out to that customer using that order ID number, because Amazon is very customer centric. Any complaints from the customer, they will sometimes just immediately deactivate your selling account, and they will demand you as a seller to do your root cause analysis and provide me why is this happening and what will you do to resolve this and prevent this from happening again in the future. So that's one. Second thing is that I will also run a report to see how many units have I shipped into Amazon in the last 180 days. Because once I know the number of units that I sent into Amazon in the last 6 months or 180 days, the next thing that I would do is to ask maybe my manufacturer. If I'm a private label, I will see the invoices coming from my manufacturer that they sent to me or that I paid to them rather in the last 6 months. But if I'm a reseller, I will look at the the invoices that I what maybe from Walmart or from Target, and make sure that the invoices will match the number of units that I send into Amazon. If let's say I sent in over 100 units in Amazon over the last 6 months, but then I will only provide an invoice that shows 10 units in there, Amazon will automatically decline your appeal. It's like, what is this? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't match number of units that you ship into Amazon. What if the one that your customers are complaining that are fake is actually the 50 or maybe the 90 units that you don't have an invoice.
Right.
So
So yeah,
that's
and
one
that's an
other thing.
important thing is Amazon's
Mhm.
most often going to ask you for invoices or proof of purchase documentation showing that this is authentic product you bought through an authentic either reseller, distributor, or from a manufacturer. So, and you can obviously blur certain things out on there, but that almost always is involved in the process of proving to Amazon that, hey, these are authentic items. Um, One other thing I just wanted to touch on, we made another video about, co-mingled inventory, co-mingled
Yeah.
barcodes, FNSKUs, all that stuff. I know when I worked with in-house for one Amazon brand, and one thing we ran into a lot was, and we were selling IT, products, electronic products, and we were doing
Mm-hmm.
commingled inventory. So there were other resellers, and Amazon is, they're essentially mixing your inventory in with everyone else, and so sometimes you get a sale attributed to your account. They might have actually sent a unit that was actually from another seller, like another seller shipped it into Amazon. Sometimes that happens, and then you can get an authenticity complaint about that. However, it wasn't you that caused it. It was actually, oh, that inventory was from this other person over here, and we have no idea what they did. And so I want to call that out, just because if you are a reseller and maybe doing that, it might be worth also just thinking about, do you want to do commingled inventory versus doing it, something like an FNSKU, and that's one way that we prevented the issue too.
Yeah. There are two things that you can do there. I mean, for sure there are many other things that you can do. It's just that two things that I can think of right now. One is obviously just to monitor your listing and kick out any sellers that piggybacking on your listing through brand registry. You can report them through IP, then they will be automatically be removed from their account if Amazon approved you. The second is that you can enroll to the Amazon Transparency Program, that every units that you will ship into the warehouse will have its own QR code that is just unique to your selling account. And if there is any other seller who will send in inventory to Amazon that has no transparency code for the same ASIN that you listed, then Amazon will automatically decline it. So there's just two things that I can
That's
think
good.
of. It's
Good
just
option.
yeah, as a seller, it's always your responsibility to monitor your listing. It's not just you create your listing and leave the rest to Amazon. No, Amazon will not even take good care of your product because they are very customer centric.
Yep. So yeah, I think just to summarize, authenticity complaints do happen, especially if you're a reseller. I feel like they happen quite a bit. But when essentially you should be monitoring your voice of customer, obviously your account health, the things you should be checking every day, or at least every other day, or at least every week. When something does happen, try to reach out to the customers that maybe you think filed those complaints. Then you need to build your plan of action, which they're going to ask for some kind of supplier, proof of purchase documentation, which if you're a reseller, you might not have. Hopefully you do, but having proper invoices and everything that Amazon's going to accept. Anything you want to add to this one?
Well, I mean, last thing that I would say is the key to everything is again monitoring your voice of the customer. And also I know that there's a dashboard right now for customers reviews and all that. Is if you are monitoring it regularly, seeing trends about why your customers are returning them, then you are actually doing proactive measures in preventing this like this authenticity complaints from happening. Being reactive is actually making it difficult as a seller, because Amazon will not disclose those information. You have to do this and do that, provide this and provide that, and sometimes you will not know the reason why they are declining it. Sometimes you will just get a seller support who is not helpful at all. So, and if you
Sometimes.
don't want to do, Yeah, sometimes because they are not
Just
really,
kidding.
I mean, well, most of the times maybe, but it's just like if you don't want to deal with this, like with the seller support, then as a seller, it's your obligation to yeah, I mean, maybe not you, maybe you can hire someone to look at this for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, so if anyone does have questions or specific, issue related to authenticity complaints, let us know in the comments. Also, we'll put links to, or maybe our LinkedIn account so you can reach out to us. But they are frustrating. They do happen, and you can get it resolved. But stay on top of your account, and that's just going to prevent problems. Arvin, another good video. We'll be back next week. We need to think of some more topics. So yeah, if anyone has any other video topic ideas, let us know in the comments, and we'll maybe make a video about it. All right, I think that's it. Cheers.